In the heart of northern Nigeria, a preacher rose claiming to speak for God, but what followed was anything but divine. By the time it was over, thousands lay dead, cities were burning, and a new chapter in Nigeria's violent religious history had begun. This is the story of Maitatsine, the self-proclaimed prophet who led a fanatical cult against modern Islam, the Nigerian government, and eventually, his own people. You're watching Exploring the Past, where we uncover the history they'd rather forget. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to support our journey into hidden history. His real name was Mohammed Marwa, born in Cameroon, but he made Nigeria his stage. By the 1940s, Marwa had settled in Kano, one of the holiest cities in Nigerian Islam. But he wasn't just another scholar. He began preaching against Western education, against radios, against bicycles, and even against watches. To him, anything modern was un-Islamic. Even mainstream Islamic clerics were considered corrupt by his standards. The people called him Maitatsine, meaning the one who curses, because his sermons were filled with rage, curses against society, leaders, and modern life. But strange as it sounds, his message resonated, especially among the poor, the marginalized, and the jobless youth of northern Nigeria. By the late 1970s, he had gathered thousands of followers, armed and ready to defend their purified version of Islam. What had started as a preacher's rant was quickly becoming a militant religious cult. On December 18, 1980, everything exploded. Maitatsine's followers clashed with Nigerian police in Kano, using bows, arrows, machetes, and even homemade bombs. For 5 days, the city was held hostage by chaos. Markets were torched, civilians murdered, and religious leaders hunted down. The Nigerian military was eventually deployed, and after brutal street-to-street fighting, over 4,000 people were dead, including Maitatsine himself. His death should have ended it, but the cult wasn't just a man, it had become a movement. In 1982, 1984, and 1985, new uprisings broke out in Yola, Gombe, Maiduguri, and Kaduna, all linked to surviving Maitatsine followers. Despite crackdowns, the cult had mutated, forming cells, arming themselves, and recruiting new fighters. In Yola alone, over 1,000 people were killed in just days, and in each attack, the same doctrine repeated: Western education is evil, modern Islam is false, violence is justified in purifying the faith. These were no longer riots, these were organized insurgencies. Though Nigerian security forces eventually crushed the last Maitatsine uprisings in the mid-80s, the ideology didn't die. Some scholars believe the group laid the ideological groundwork for Boko Haram, preaching which many of the emerged same in the early beliefs. Hatred of Western education, armed resistance against the state, a return to pure Islam through violence. Boko Haram's early leaders even referenced Maitatsine's legacy. Nigeria's war with religious extremism didn't start in 2009. It started with a preacher in Kano who cursed the world and led thousands into a nightmare. The story of Maitatsine is one of faith, fear, and fanaticism. It reminds us that history doesn't just repeat itself. Sometimes, it evolves in darker forms. If you found this video insightful, help us bring more stories like this to light by subscribing and sharing. This is Exploring the Past.